today for just $29.99. They're covered by most insurance plans and walk-ins are welcome. These restrictions apply in some states. See your Rite Aid pharmacist for details. Why are you locking the door? Mom's still up there.
It's too late for your mother, buddy. I'm sorry.
This holiday, make laughter.
Oh, baby. Oh, my.
Make goosebumps.
Your first Christmas.
Make memories. Make holiday magic at Zaggle.com. At Zaggle, a few simple clicks is all it takes to make a gift just for them. From playing cards to posters, iPhone covers to throw tools, there's something for everyone. Choose your gift and then customize with colors, photos, heart messages, and more. Visit Zaggle.com today and save 15%. Get free shipping on Zaggle Holiday Magic.
It is the day before the day. Tomorrow, of course, election day all over the country. And wait, I just asked this off the air. I'll ask you on the air. Is anyone not using Barbara Roberts? Tell me about that. How is that they're doing the process of returning to normal?
Well, you know, it's been it's sort of a field in the city where I am. We've got power in Manhattan and Brooklyn where I live. We've got power, but a lot of New York is still really struggling out on Staten Island, out in the Rockaways, by the water. You know, people still don't have power. People are increasingly upset, and you know, there's still a long way to go. Subway service is back this morning, but you know, in a lot of places they haven't gotten trains running, and it's a city that feels alive now, but it's still certainly recovering.
Okay, so as far as the election is concerned, what are they talking about doing? There are certain places like New Jersey where they're talking about, aren't they, military trucks or something?
Yeah, you know, I have to say I actually haven't followed too closely because New Jersey is not a swing state. But you know, they're making provisions everywhere. I know in New York, I follow that a little more closely because that's where I vote. They're setting up, you know, alternate polling places. If you have a school that you were supposed to go to and that school hasn't been able to reopen, they're trying to get the information out there. You have election officials on television, you know, saying to people to go check the website to see if their polling place is moved. But it's a scramble. I think in New York, certainly most folks, it looks like they're going to be able to vote where they plan to, but there's a significant minority that are going to have to either move or figure out a way to do some early voting. They're telling people to go down to the election office and maybe get an absentee ballot.
Could this be something, though, where fraud is, you know, people do this fraud or something like that and hold up this election? See, I stipulate that we're not going to have this thing over with by tomorrow night. Am I wrong?
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, the key state to look at, to me, on that question, there's two states. There's Florida, which, of course, we went through that, you know, in 2000, and then there's Ohio. And I've actually looked a lot at what happened in Ohio. Essentially, let's say Ohio decides to stay in this election. Well, there are going to probably be about 200, maybe 250,000 provisional ballots cast in that race. If it's within 50,000, even 75,000 votes, the candidates are going to say, well, we need to see those provisional ballots. You can't even count those provisional ballots for a 10-day period. Then there's another 10-day period where the lawyers for both parties will be fighting over which of those provisional ballots count. Then if it's within 0.025%, you go to an automatic recount. So this is pushing this back into December, and that doesn't even talk about, court challenges that could push back the deadline. So it's really, it could be a real mess. What a lot of folks are hoping, I think, all over the country is that, there's a clear winner on election night. We don't have to go through what we went through in 2000.
Yeah. It is 8:20. More with Brian in just a moment. First, here's real-time traffic and Mark Dornfeld.
All right, so looking at some pretty big delays in a couple of spots. So some good news over on the east side. This crash we had on 84 westbound on the ramp to I-205 where you need to go to 205 north or south. That's been cleared over to the right shoulder of that ramp. Still some leftovers flowing away from 122nd up to the scene. That's the reason for that unusual delay. Once you get past it, get up around the corner on 84, you'll find more slowing after 102nd Avenue down to Interstate 5. 205, still starting to wind down. Still some southbound flowing between Highway 213 and West Lynn, and northbound delays on and off between Sunnyside and Holgate. Out of Clark County, finally looking better on 205 south on the Glen Jackson Bridge. Interstate 5 south improving as well, slow between Fourth Plain and Fremont Span on the Oregon side. Just a small break on the Interstate Bridge, about it. Out west, Sunset lines up before 217, continues slow to 405. 217 still slowing southbound between Canyon and Greenberg, and northbound on and off between I-5 and Denny. Out of the south, Interstate 5 northbound still lined up before you reach 205, and Tualatin stays slow to the Lake House Vigo exit. More slowing 99W through the curves. Downtown, accident with a Max and another vehicle at Southwest 11th and Morrison has that intersection blocked. Also, a blocking crash in Beaverton, Southwest Allen and Erickson. Check on the traffic brought to you by Airborne Hot Soothing Mix with 14 vitamins, minerals, and herbs, including C, A, E, zinc, and echinacea. Airborne Real Immune Support. Next real-time traffic is at 8:33 with Coin Local 6's Ronnie Canelli. Traffic alerts when they happen. I'm Mark Dornfeld. Bob, back to you.
8:22 in the morning at AM 860. We're talking to Brian Montefiore, who is the CBS correspondent covering the election in New York. Brian, these polls keep coming out, and they all look almost identical. It's a neck-and-neck deal all the way down the road, and that's why I say I wonder if it'll be over with by tomorrow night. On the other hand, I mean, certainly Bush-Gore went that way. The polls were very, very tight. Is that what we're looking at this time, or are the polls full of it?
Well, the polls have shown a tight race, but they've generally, in the swing states right now, showed a small advantage for the president in Ohio, in Wisconsin, and in Nevada. And if he wins those three states, that's 271 electoral votes, assuming he wins all the states he's expected to win. And that includes Pennsylvania, a state that Romney seems to think he has a shot at based on the fact that he visited the state over the weekend. I think there's a couple possibilities in this race. There's certainly a possibility of a small victory for Mitt Romney, electoral vote victory. He's going to have to do well in the swing states to get there. And there's a possibility of an Obama landslide. I know that sounds a little strange with how tight the polls are, but if the polls are understating Obama's support by 1 or 2 points, he's going to win Florida, he's going to win Virginia, he's going to win Ohio, and he's going to get more than 300 electoral votes, even if he doesn't win the popular vote by all that much. If the polls are off for Romney by 1 or 2 points, it's going to allow Romney, I think, to squeak past the finish line, but it's going to be a lot closer. So don't be surprised if we see Obama win this thing by a lot of electoral votes, but I would be surprised if the popular vote margin was anything like what we saw in 2008.
All right, good enough, my friend. Thank you very much.
All right.
Brian Montefiore in New York today. For those that aren't aware, I'm from Ohio, and I can tell you how it lays out. Ohio is 2 different states. It's much like Oregon, much like Multnomah County and then Oregon. Okay? Ohio's same way. Southwest Ohio, where I come, heavy Republican. Big-time Republican, with the possible exception of Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a very large African-American population, and that would probably lean more toward the president. But Southern Ohio is Republican. Northern Ohio is about as Democrat as you get. I'm talking about Parma, Cleveland, up in there. That's real heavy. You're talking about steel industry, a lot of union, that sort of thing up in there. So it's really 2 different states, and it really literally breaks in half in the state of Ohio. So it'll be interesting to see which direction it does go.
Why doesn't Romney just promise he'll make LeBron come back to Cleveland if he wins?
I don't know if Cleveland wants LeBron back.
They like winning. They would bring him back.